Today we're going to look at a tea scroll by a Zen monk. And usually when I'm talking about artworks, I'm introducing people from 100, 200, 300 years ago. But today's scroll is by Tachibana Daiki, one of the 20th century's great abbots of Daitokuji Temple in Kyoto, who I knew and who played quite a role in my life and the life of my friends in Kameoka and in Kyoto. And so we're going to delve a little bit into that personal history and also talk about what this scroll is telling us. The thing about a tea ceremony is that the scroll must never be a painting, it must be calligraphy. And the calligraphy states the theme of the occasion. And so it's the only thing in the tea room that you actually bow to. Everything else you just look at. So the scroll has a special position, and because it's calligraphy, that is to say it's words, it's telling you something. Presumably something profound to meditate on. First, a little history of Tachibana Daiki. I had grown up in Japan since I was a little boy, but my discovery of Japanese arts as an adult came in 1976 when I attended here in Kameoka the Omoto School of Traditional Japanese Arts, which had been created that year to teach foreigners tea ceremony, martial arts, calligraphy, no drama, and so forth, in a very intensive program that went for a month, and we wore Japanese hakama and yukata every day, and focused very much on getting to the inner secrets of these arts. And it had a huge impact, not only on me, I remained in Kameoka to this day, but on friends of mine who have been active as academics, or art curators, or writers, or collectors throughout the world. And in that first Omoto seminar, David Kidd, who was one of the founders, along with Madame Naohi, the leader of Omoto, brought Tachibana Daiki to speak to us. And Daiki's history, with regards to David, was that his old friend John Toller from Lubbock, Texas, who had decided to become a Zen monk, began his studies in Daitokuji under one of the disciples of Daiki. And so through John and then his monk friends at Daitokuji, David got to know Daiki. Daiki had already long been a friend of Madame Naohi, and so he came to the seminar to give us a lecture on Zen. And in that lecture, and I was supposed to be translating, and so this was a real challenge because I didn't know anything about these things at that time, he was asked, "What is Zen?" And the reply he gave, and this is actually the first Zen saying that I ever heard, he said this, and it says, Daido Choan ni toru. Daido means the great way. Choan is Chang'an. Chang'an was the old capital of Tang Dynasty, China. And toru means to reach to penetrate. So what it means is the great way goes all the way to Chang'an. And I could get that much meaning out of it, but what in the world this meant, I had absolutely no idea. And of course, Daiki said it with great vehemence. Daido choan ni toru. And everybody jumped a bit and then wondered what this was about. So it's now decades later, and a scroll with this saying on it by him has come my way. The saying actually first appears in a book of Zen dialogues called the Blue Cliff Record, which is the source of many famous Zen sayings. And in it, this dialogue takes place. So a monk asked Joe, "What is the great way?" And Joe said, "It's right outside the wall." And the monk said, "I'm not asking about that way. What is the great way?" And Joe answered, "The great way leads to Chang'an." So there are different ways to interpret it. I'd always assumed that what it meant is you're on your way, that once you start studying Zen or any kind of spiritual practice, I suppose, then you're already on your way, and you will reach Chang'an. That's what I had understood it to be. But the deeper understanding of that dialogue is that it doesn't matter which way. So it could be the one outside the gate, or it could be the one you're standing on right now inside the wall. Whatever way you're on, you will reach to Chang'an. And of course, Chang'an was the city of glory. It's like all roads go to Rome. Reaching Chang'an meant that you had penetrated to grandeur, to wonder. And so whatever way you choose, you will get there. Now, the style of the calligraphy is very Zen, that is to say, very instantaneous, very playful. He's sort of scratchily written. You can see where the ink peters out. It's rather dry ink. And it's signed Murasaki no Daiki. Murasaki no means the purple fields, and that was the name of the area where Daitokuji Temple was founded. And so ever since then, abbots of Daitokuji will sign themselves as being from the purple fields. Daiki means the great tortoise, the great turtle, which was his sort of playful way of describing himself. Daiki went on to a very grand old age. He was already well into his 70s. In fact, he was exactly 76 at that occasion. Died in 2005, well over 100 years old. Daiki's impact on the students at the Omoto seminar continued well after that first occasion, because we all later got to know those monks in Daitokuji, and I've been over the years to visit them and have heard many Zen sayings and performed meditations and seen some rather extreme and wonderful and eccentric happenings, all of which were inspired by this extreme and wonderful and eccentric man. So back to the tea ceremony. Why do we value the scroll so much? It's because it is two things. It's words, and it's telling you something to think about. The great way leads to Chang'an. But it's also, in the writing, is the personality. The heart of the writer has somehow been expressed. It's one of these mysterious things. There's an old saying in China, calligraphy is a portrait of the heart. And so that's what we have here. We have not only Zen wisdom, but we have Daiki himself. And he's sitting there shouting at us, the great way leads to Chang'an. If you like what you've seen, please press like and please subscribe to Secrets of Things.